So if you had the chance to see the PlayStation State of Play live stream event the other day on the PlayStation YouTube channel, on social media, they were posting it everywhere, so everybody was able to see this future lineup that Sony has in store for gamers. And to be honest with you, it was kind of a letdown. I watched some of the games that they had, and I wasn't impressed. One of the two games that were coming out was Silent Hill 2, which we're about to talk about, and then there was another game called Concord, which I'm going to talk about later today. And it looks to be some kind of weird Overwatch ripoff, which is really lame, but I'm going to be talking about that. First and foremost, Silent Hill 2. It's being remade by Bloober Team, who are working for Konami. Now, there are some interesting things about Bloober and the things that they have done to this game and who they're working with, and we're going to get into that. The first thing that I want to point out is this post from them, which came very recently, and I think that it perfectly encompasses what's going on with this game. So they say here yesterday, see how the Bloober Team devs working on Silent Hill 2 preserved authenticity while adapting a horror classic for modern audiences. That's a term that we all love to see, and it's definitely not a red flag at all, modern audiences. Now, if you don't know what Silent Hill 2 is, it is a horror video game franchise about people that go to a town called Silent Hill, and it creates psychological or physical manifestations of their darkest thoughts, desires, and all of their sins and all that stuff, and these characters have to find different ways to deal with these things to either overcome them or succumb to them. And it's a very interesting video game franchise, one that I grew up with in particular, and the games are really atmospheric, they're unique, and they're pretty niche, but they've become very popular over the years, and different game developers have tried to emulate the same atmosphere that was lightning in a bottle for the gaming industry at the time, alongside other horror franchises like Resident Evil. But one of the characters that are being treated to a modern audience makeover is Angela. Now, if you don't know who Angela is, in my opinion, she's one of the most tragic characters in the entire franchise of Silent Hill 2, because her character is one of innocence, and she suffers one of the greatest atrocities that I've ever heard of. They seem to have gotten this character wrong. Now, if you take a look at this post from Grums, he reacts to this post from Konami yesterday that I just said. This is a great comparison. These photos that are right next to each other show an Angela. I believe that this Angela on the left, that I'm about to show you right here, the one on the left is from a remaster. Okay, so this was a remastered version of Angela. She's a 19-year-old, and in the game, she suffers a really horrible atrocity. And in the original game, she looks and sounds like a pretty lady, a normal lady. All right, and on the left, here she is. And on the right, she's getting the Ubisoft treatment or the Pokemon Go treatment, whatever you want to call it. They're getting the modern audience, strong female, masculine look. And it's a thing that we have seen prominent in the gaming industry for a while now, where they've been trying to masculinize all these female characters for some reason. And they do it often when it comes to these remakes. Now, if you look at the one on the right, you're probably wondering to yourself, why does it look like she walked right into a hornet's nest and suffered an extreme allergic reaction? Well, you wouldn't be crazy in thinking that, because that's exactly what I thought when I took a look at this thing too. I mean, this is a horrible remake version of Angela. There's an argument out there saying, well, you guys are perverts for wanting her to be pretty because she's a sexual assault victim. Like, dude, why is it that because she's a sexual assault victim, they have to make her ugly and derpy and make her look like some kind of puffy, baby-faced, weird-looking non-binary character? She looks a little bit androgynous. Silent Hill as a game is knee-deep in symbolism. The characters look and sound a certain way in those games, and those are for story reasons. Story-related reasons that pertain to the character that you're playing as and pertain to the plot overall. And these characters look and sound a certain way because the game is trying to subvert your expectations and help you to understand them in a different way later on. Now, in a game like Silent Hill 2, symbolism is really important. The details matter, the smaller details. It's something that I've mentioned when reacting to this remake trailer. It's something that is very well known in this franchise. The things that the characters deal with, the things that they see, and the things that Silent Hill manifests for them, either psychologically or physically, has a lot to do with how they see certain characters or situations, you know. So the main character of Silent Hill 2 sees his wife Maria a certain way. She's dressed in certain attire, like leopard print dresses, or etc., etc. The same thing goes for Angela. You know, Angela is a character who's dealt with a lot of bullcrap, but you don't really see what she's going through right off the bat, and you have to discover that as the game goes along, you know. But there's a lot of symbolism and meaning behind the way that the characters look, sound, and act. But it seems that with Angela, they've just dropped the ball. I have actually a comparison video, and it was pretty shocking to see the differences here. One sounds normal and the other sounds ridiculous, but I wanted you guys to hear it for yourselves. So listen to this. This is when you meet Angela in the original game.
Excuse me,
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
All right, so there's the first version. Now here is the second version right here.
I'm sorry. I was just...
It's okay. I didn't mean to.
Dude, when I heard this, I just started laughing because it sounds so weird when she says, she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just, what is that? What is that supposed to be? Here, let's hear it a second time.
I'm sorry. I was just...
It's okay.
And it's just so weird. She sounds all puffy. She sounds like she just got stung by a bunch of bees. Like when she's talking, she's like, oh, I'm sorry. My bad. And I don't know what I'm doing. She just sounds like she needs a cheeseburger or something. And it's just such a weird redesign. I don't think it's a bad thing that they're remaking this game, but there are several things about the remake that I don't like. First off, the game doesn't look all that great graphically. It doesn't look all that different from the remaster. It looks great in some places. I suppose the town looks okay, but one of the things that I had a problem with was the way that the characters look, and Angela, that's just inexcusable. There is really no reason for her to look like this. I mean, she looks like a puffed up baby face. It's weird. And I've seen the team working on this game, and some people say that it's a self-insert because of, you know, the narrative director or whatever. You know, it's not really surprising if that's the case, but you really don't have to look that far if you want proof that they're trying to masculinize this character for an agenda. And I'm about to go over that, but check out the gameplay too. It's something that I'm just not a fan of. You know, when you have games like Resident Evil 2 who were pushing the envelope and actually remaking it and trying to revamp the combat, these guys are talking about how they want to stay true to the original combat, but they keep the clunkiness in there, and it doesn't really translate as well, as you can see here. Another thing I noticed is that they made the nurses in this game really skinny, scrawny, and less accentuated, and it's really not that big of a deal overall to me, but I do notice that when these games are being remade, they do a lot of work trying to undo some of the appearances of the characters to make them look more androgynous. That's something that we've seen patterns of over and over again. And I just see a lot of that here. I just see lame gameplay, lame graphics. It doesn't look like they put as much effort as they could have into this game. But again, that's just my opinion. My real problem is with them translating these characters from the original game poorly. And these people are trying to remake this game, and they claim that it's going to be faithful to the original vision. They say that in the trailer itself. And yet they say that they're trying to re-envision it for a modern audience, so I'm not sure what they're trying to say. But I do know that Bloober Team is based out of Poland. And this Bloober Team, who are based in Poland, appear to be working with a Sweet Baby-like consultancy agency that I have actually reported on in the past. If you see this post from Manga Lawyer, he says Bloober Team has hired Sweet Baby Inc. 2.0, Hit Detection, a sensitive consulting company for Silent Hill 2 Remake, plus ESG Konami. Ever wonder why Maria looks so sanitized, not spoiling the game? But it's over, bros. Pack your things. When they said modern audience, they mean it. And yes, it's true, because if you go on the Hit Detection website, that is exactly what you see. Not only can you see other projects that have had the Sweet Baby Inc. treatment, like Alan Wake 2, but you also get to see some of the other companies they've worked for. Now, it's no question that they are tackling sensitive issues, because in this assessment here, it says our team assesses the risk factors for depictions of character from underrepresented groups, themes, and potential community reactions. How many times have we seen that before on other websites? What an original thought process, yeah? But they have had a heavy hand in this, apparently, because look at who they're working for. Bloober Team. And of course, Bloober Team is working on a Silent Hill game. So, why in the heck does this lady look like a weird, non-binary freak with bushy eyebrows, a weird, puffy bee sting face, and a voice that sounds like she ate way too many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches before reciting her lines? It just doesn't make any sense to me, guys. It doesn't make any sense at all. And the only way that it would make sense is if you know that they're working with a Sweet Baby-like consultancy agency, and that's exactly what we're getting right here. And guess what the reaction to gamers pushing back on this stuff is? Coping, seething, hatred, and just screaming at male gamers again. It's always the male gamers' fault when it comes to these situations. By the way, on the GameSpot video, yeah, it's getting absolutely ratioed by gamers, and it's not doing so well on the PlayStation side either, as it's looking at a 60% approval rate, which is not good. It could get worse. I haven't seen the other videos, but I already know that the reaction to this game is negative right now. But yeah, game devs are not happy that gamers are upset about this. They have something to say. Another post from Manga Lawyer recites this post. This activist, known for tantrums at Pal World and working on the flop Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, no surprise there, has never played Silent Hill 2 or read its story. You can't make this up. And this person, Del Walker, the cartel Del, I feel like I've encountered this person in the past. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of people act much in the same way as this person does. But he says, as a game dev, I'm here to tell you these situations arise when there are too many men on a team. Wow. It's the men's fault, guys. They overcorrect for the hypersexuality of the 90s, and there's no woman in the room to say relax. Some women like dressing in leopard print and crop tops, and that's okay. So he's slamming the gamers for criticizing this stuff, and of course in the picture it shows two versions of Maria. Now, like I said, the game is heavy with its symbolism. Maria is supposed to represent a version of James's wife in the game, okay? So he envisions her a certain way. So this person who's talking a bunch of smack about over-sexualizing Maria or over-sexualizing Angela, for example, he has never played the game. He doesn't understand why this is important to the story of the game. The same thing goes for Angela. If you're going to adapt a character from the Silent Hill franchise, especially one of the most tragic characters ever, and in many ways the most defining character, you just have to get that character right. If she's pretty in the original game and in the remaster Angela is pretty again, then why would you try to uglify her in the remake? But of course, that's what happens when you work with Sweet Baby-like consultancy agencies. They push that woke agenda that Sony and Microsoft are apparently adopting right in front of our faces. And this is what you get. But the people who react to this, game designers in particular, they react disingenuously and they ignore the facts of the situation. That's something that happens often. And usually when these people react in this way, it's because they haven't played the content. And that apparently is the case here. Now, I tried to look at this guy's post to get a little bit more context, but of course, I'm blocked by this person. And this is something that I have seen happen over and over again. I don't know what terrifies these people so much about my presence on Twitter or what might happen if I see their posts, but they feel that blocking me is the best way to keep me from seeing their posts. But it's really not the case because I can still see what's going on with him. So principal game artist Del Walker, all right, previously worked at Naughty Dog, wow, Rocksteady Games, of course, and Respawn. I actually kind of like Respawn, and I hope that they continue to make good games and not crappy ones, but these previous two make a lot of sense to me. Now, he says he's a game dev, and he's been seen in Forbes, Yahoo News, Tech Radar, GBiz, and BBC, and apparently he does not like Dreadroberts. But I went down to read his posts, and he says, please don't waste your time explaining to me how Maria exists in the game. So I guess some people tried to educate him on the symbolism of Silent Hill 2, but he does not care. I'm old as F and probably still own the game's master magazine that couldn't stop talking about how great the metaphor was. I'm just explaining why these situations happen. And then later on, he says he's going to mute. There was something I saw that he said I found interesting, saying, yes, many women like to see sexy women in games too. They just think it's weird when every woman character is a sex doll. But gamers who are criticizing this likely did not simp for Hades 2 as hard as Kotaku and all of these other weirdos simped for them. Okay, I've never seen such slobbering, thriving thirst for video game characters as I've seen for Hades 2. But we'll just pretend that it's male gamers that are the problem when these people on the other side are just simping like a bunch of immature teenagers. It's also weird that he parrots the same quote that the guy from IGN France said when he's like an over-sexualized doll with Stellar Blade's Eve. And that's something that I see repeated over and over. They always repeat each other's talking points and vomit in each other's mouths. Not every woman character is a sex doll, and it's just ridiculous. And that's how you know that this person hasn't played this game, because the symbolism is the first thing that you should think of when you think of Silent Hill 2 characters. So again, that's the reaction that we're getting. It's not just from game developers either. We've also got Twitch streamers who are being just as critical of male gamers this time around. You've got a Twitch streamer here. Now, she is Madison, Harvard graduate apparently. Streamer and cosplayer, Twitch streamer, okay, software engineer, amazing. But the things that she says are not so amazing. The same Gamergate guys who throw a fit that every girl isn't super hot on a video game don't want hot girls to work as game devs. These game dev teams are majority male, and they don't know how to serve or slay, but y'all still refuse to blame anyone but women and wokeness. Lack of interest in the facts, lack of information, but they love to criticize male gamers no matter what. Yeah, if I'm on character design, the girls are all going to be in the skimpiest outfits known to mankind, and she responds, girls understand what girls wear to suit the right occasion and the character vibes, and they don't want girls working on this at all. And what else does this person say? No one cares if you play Stellar Blade. No one cares if you think Eve is hot. She is hot. Well, at least everyone can agree there. It is just a little embarrassing to throw a fit over 2 centimeters of you know what and cleavage because you want to goon harder to a fictional character. So you yourself know what's going on with Silent Hill 2. Now, am I going to buy this game? No. I'd be willing to give this game a chance if it didn't look like a PlayStation 3 title. The graphics don't look all that remade to me, and the character designs are a little on the disappointing side, especially with Angela, and she's one of the biggest characters in the franchise to me. So to see her be handled so disrespectfully, it's kind of insulting, and I'm just not interested in this. And the combat as well. The combat is the biggest turnoff for me. I'm not impressed by what I'm seeing here. It just looks clunky, and they're like, oh, well, the original was clunky, so we wanted to capture the spirit of that. You definitely did. You definitely captured the clunky spirit. Like, I feel like if you're gonna remake a game, you should remake every aspect of it. And to be honest, they can say everything that they want, but I just feel like there's not enough effort put into this game. But there was a lot of effort put into the consultancy, which is why we get this version of Angela that makes absolutely zero sense in the grand scope. But hey, apparently game developers who were artists know better. Twitch streamers who have never played Silent Hill 2, apparently they know better as well. Male gamers, they don't know better, and they need to be pushed out of the gaming industry ASAP. After all, it's the only way that we're going to get a modern audience remake like Konami says. And that's all I've got for you guys in this video today. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you haven't had the chance to like it and share it with your friends, that would be awesome. And hey, if you're feeling ultra spicy, consider subscribing to my channel so that you're always up to date on what kind of thing I've got going on. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Later. Meow meow.